يا أيها الذين آمنوا قوا أنفسكم وأهليكم نارا وقودها الناس والحجارة عليها ملائكة غلاظ شداد لا يعصون الله ما أمرهم ويفعلون ما يؤمرون.
When we share the same intention of bringing up our children in an Islamic way, we pray Allah to grant us achievement on that. You are welcome, all sirs. The management of Great Heights Academy, our director, Ajia Rabi Namtari, our principal, Ajia Usaina Abdul, other management staff, the teachers of Great Heights Academy, you are all welcome. And I tell you people, congratulations that we are able to make this occasion a reality. Without wasting time at all, we move to the first item of our agenda, which is the opening prayer. I would like to invite our father, who is here together with our guest speaker, Sheikh Zakaria Uthman, to please lead us in the opening prayer. Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaba bikum.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Malik Yawmiddin, Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in, Ihdinas siratal mustaqim, Siratal ladzina an'amta alayhim, ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Qul a'udhu birabbil falaq, min sharri ma khalaq, wa min sharri ghasikin idha waqab, wa min sharri naffathati fil 'uqad, wa min sharri hasidin idha hasad. Qul a'udhu birabbin nas, malikin nas, ilahin nas, min sharri al-waswasil khannas, alladhi yuwaswisu fi sudurin nas, min al-jinnati wan nas. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا وخطأنا. ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا. ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به. واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد وبارك على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept the supplication and reward our Father who led us abundantly. That opening prayer shall be followed with recitation from the glorious Quran. While we are ready to listen to the recitation, I invite one of our teachers here to please come forward to recite the glorious Quran. Ustaz Khalilullah, please come forward to recite Quran while we listen. May Allah reward us all. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يوم تجد كل نفس ما عملت من خير محضرا وما عملت من سوء
تود لو أن بينها وبينه أمدا بعيدا ويحذركم الله نفسه والله رؤوف بالعباد قل إن كنتم تحبون الله فاتبعوني يحببكم الله ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم والله رؤوف بالعباد قل أطيعوا الله والرسول فإن تولوا فإن الله لا يحب الكافرين إن الله اصطفى آدم ونوحا وآل إبراهيم وآل عمران على العالمين ذرية بعضها من بعض والله سميع أليم إذ قالت امرأة عمران رب إني نذرت لك ما في بطني محررا فتقبل مني إنك أنت السميع الأليم فلما وضعتها قالت رب إني وضعتها أنثى والله أعلم بما وضعت وليس الذكر كالأنثى وإني سميتها مريم وإني أعيذها بك وذريتها من الشيطان الرجيم صدق الله العظيم
تكبير الله أكبر كبيرا والحمد لله كثيرا وسبحان الله بكرة وأصيلا. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward us, reward the reciter, and reward all the listeners. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us the mercy of the Quran and to make us the followers of the Quran always, inshallah. That was the recitation of the Quran. If you check your program, the next item is introduction of the chairman and the guest speakers. The chairman of today's occasion is on his way coming. We told him we would not like to exceed the time stipulated to commence this program. And he gave us go ahead that he will soon join us. Chairman is Ustaz Zakaria Hussein, the secretary at Banex Mosque. We pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bring him here safely and to reward him abundantly. The guest speakers that we have invited for today's occasion are two. All of us are here already. We are delighted because we are seeing before us the great sheikh that we have always been wanting to listen to. Some of us have listened to his lectures, audio, video. We have read many books through newspaper. Personally, I read always through Google. Each time I click Google and I put Dr. Gumi, I will always read something new. Today will be my first time of seeing him physically and being able to listen to him physically. So if I know how to upload things on Google, I should be the first person to put it this time around so that other people read through me. Alhamdulillah, that I am now one of the immediate listener to his lecture. Our guest speaker, whom I'm trying to introduce to you, is no other person than that vibrant scholar, very brave, who is always articulate in giving explanation about the tenets of Islam, who has always been the role model to many of us that are just starting the act of da'wah, and who has always been there, never disappointing us, because he has promised his Lord, and we pray that Allah will continue to be his strength. Is our Sheikh Dr. Ahmad Abubakar Mahmoud Gumi. Dr. Gumi was born 1st October 1960. To those who know the history of Nigeria, the date is significant in Nigeria, but Dr. Gumi is somebody that Allah has sent for a mission that is even beyond Nigeria. He was born in 1960 in Kano City. Dr. Gumi graduated MBBS at ABU Zaria, 1982. Dr. Gumi had his PhD at Qura University in Mecca. He had PhD in Islamic jurisprudence, and that was in year 2011. As a child then, I knew Dr. Gumi to be a medical doctor. I knew Dr. Gumi to be a very strong person. In fact, I knew him to be a warrior for Islam. And Alhamdulillah, he has acquired all this. ما كان لله من مستنكر أن يجعل العالم في واحد. Nobody will query Allah if he has blessed a single individual with a lot of blessings that many are sharing, but he alone is having them all. Sheikh Dr. Ahmad Gumi, you are a role model, you are an epitome that we all stand to listen to always and to see as our role model. We pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to always be with you. We are delighted having you here. Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaba bik. I don't know if you deem it fit that doctors should rise a bit and we say our takbir. While he's sitting, let's say our takbir. Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaba bikum. The second speaker is on his way coming, we believe. But he told us that if he's not here personally, because of some challenges he faced while planning to come, if he's not here physically, his message will be here and will be presented by somebody who will ably represent him. We hope that in a couple of minutes, either himself or the representative will be here with us. Inshallah. Marhaba bikum. Takbir. The item number 4 directs me only to introduce the chairperson and the guest speakers, which I have done. I introduce everybody here. I need to say once again that our school is a girls' school. The secondary section of the school is girls only, boarding, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the greatest planner that you can think of. He has planned it perfectly, and he has put in charge of the school women who are real mothers who will be able to take care of these girls. And this is what they do always. Those of us who are men working with them, we give our little support, but most times we look at them, we say, even if we are not here, this woman can do it alone. Allah has been their strength. The director of our school is the one that will give us the welcome address because she has a lot of things to tell us pertaining the achievements, the challenges of the school, which if she's not here, we may not understand it well. And since Allah is the one planning it, Allah is the one that has given us that blessing that she will be able to do it. Alhamdulillah, today will be another day of joy for her, being able to gather this occasion and being able to say welcome to everybody that is here. Therefore, we crave your indulgence to please permit Great Heights Academy to present our director, to welcome you all and to tell you our happiness in seeing you here today. I have the singular honor and the privilege to invite Hajia Rabi Namtari, the director of Great Heights Academy, to present our welcome address. Takbir.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. All praises and gratitude belong to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the glorious, the supreme, the absolute, upon whom all depend. May the blessings of Allah be upon his chosen servant, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the embodiment of all virtues. May the same go to his household, companions, as well as those who maintain the path of goodness till the end of time. The chairman of the occasion, our guest speakers, the PTA chairman of both sections, invited guests, distinguished fathers, management and staff of Great Heights Academy. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. With gratitude and total submission to Allah, I am delighted to welcome you all on behalf of the entire management, staff, and students of Great Heights Academy to the second annual Fathers Conference of this institution. This gathering, which we feel happy to organize, is one of the ways Great Heights Academy strives in the cause of Allah to make positive changes in our society. Our dear guests, the theme of this conference is the next generation of Muslims. Where are their fathers? Two topics based on the theme shall be discussed by two prominent Muslim scholars. Parenting, the next generation of Muslims, What Fathers Must Know, by Dr. Ahmed Gumi, a prominent scholar from Kaduna. Coping with Modernity and the Muslim Identity, Roles of the Fathers, by Dr. Ahmed Abdurrahman, the National Missioner, Ansarudin Society of Nigeria. We believe that the choice of the theme and the topics is quite apt and relevant at this time, when the Muslim community is grappling with challenges of modernity and its threat to Islamic religious teachings, traditions, and values. It is no longer news that the society is getting more rotten by the day, especially through the negative interaction that our children now have with people of other cultures and values via social media, such as Facebook, Twitter, 2Go, WhatsApp, and so on. The more aware one is of the trend, the more one fears for the future generation of Muslims. Today's gathering is therefore important to us as a school, as we hope that by the end of today, stakeholders will be better informed and empowered to complement the school's continuing efforts at tackling these challenges. Dear parents, the lifestyle in the society in which we live in today is a direct opposite of what Islam recommends and approves of. Our children, the next generation of Muslims, are in danger. Immorality, dishonesty, disrespect for elders and constituted authority, innovation in deen issues, lack of seriousness in their studies, drug abuse, watching of pornographic films are the order of the day. Permit me to make reference to a Daily Trust article on page 52, just yesterday, titled The Rape by a 14-Year-Old by Safia Dantei. She said, among other things, you have trained your child to the best of your ability, but along the line, he may meet some friends to influence him to do things that he knows will not be acceptable to you and against everything you believe in. But as parents, whatever your child does comes back to you. And as such, whatever crime he commits, you are going to be blamed, even if you have brought him up the right way. Our Muslim children are also involved in these vices listed above. And unfortunately, parents are in denial. No one wants to believe or accept that his own child or daughter could be involved in one or some of these vices highlighted. Do you know your child or daughter well? Who are her friends and what type of families do they come from? What does she do at her leisure time? How does she dress? Where does she go to? How much of her deen does she really know and practice? We should all ask ourselves, if I die today, will I be able to face Allah and say that this child entrusted in my care has been well trained as a true and practicing Muslim, useful to herself and the society? Our ability to answer these questions correctly will go a long way to determine the type of parents or father one is, and whether indeed we have lived up to our responsibilities. It is, however, not an easy task. We must strive to take up the role of spiritual leadership and not take anything for granted. We need your understanding and partnership as a school in order to achieve the mission of providing an institution that will prepare children, especially the Muslim girl child, for this world and the hereafter. It is our vehement belief that living by example will guarantee moral excellence. We must act as good role models for our spouses and children at the same time. We must let our lifestyle speak more about who we are and our faith in Allah. It is by doing this that we can better our own present generation and guarantee a better next generation of Muslims. I strongly believe, too, that the parents of our students are glad to be part of today's gathering. I crave your indulgence to highlight that the last Fathers Conference, which was the first of its kind, was highly worthwhile and valuable. You may recall that then a lot of sensitive issues affecting the upbringing of our children, especially the girl child, were openly trashed. We had Dr. Muhammad bin Uthman from Kano and Professor Taufik Abdulaziz from University of Abuja as speakers. We received a number of testimonies regarding lessons learned from the conference. We are hopeful that this year's conference will even be more valuable. May I therefore use this medium to welcome our eminent chairman of the occasion, the guest speakers, our esteemed fathers, and the delegates from invited schools. I welcome you all. Before I take my seat, I would like to say a few words to the fathers. Please spend quality time with your daughters. Many fathers feel, if I pay school fees, I have provided shelter, I have married a woman that I think should be able to take care of the children, and I bring in food every day, I have done my bit. I should be able to go out there and continue to take care of the family through what I bring in. Wallahi, the world we are living in today, if you feel by doing that you have played your role, you are making a very big mistake. Maybe when we were younger, it was working. But today, it is not working and it will not work. The challenges out there that these children face are more than we can imagine. Even as adults, we know that practicing our deen, praying on time, enjoining good and forbidding bad, we know that even ourselves, sometimes we struggle and strive to keep on the right path because of all that is happening in the society. How much more these young children? How much have we equipped them with the ability to say no when it is time to say no?
How many of us can confidently pick up our children's telephones and open them and see the type of text messages that they send to each other? We buy these phones for them. There are a lot, some of them can do what we cannot do with these phones. You need to be close to your daughters. They need you. Don't leave the upbringing of your daughters to the women alone. We are not as strong as you think we are. Many of us are weak. Where we need to say no, we cannot say no because some of these girls are as tall as we are. And they can answer back when we say things to them. You need to get close to them. You need to know who their friends are. How many of us actually drive our children to their friends' houses? They want to go out, the driver takes them. Do you know where they are going to? The driver is not concerned. He will just park. It's his duty to just drive them. He cannot say no. He won't even have the guts to come to you and say, Alaji, akwai problem fa. Gashi gashi inda na kai yarinya nan. This is where I took this girl. This is what she's doing. They don't care. It is not their business. We have 267 girls in this school. Some of us have 4, 5, 6 children in the house. If we cannot control them, how do we expect that we as a school alone can do it? Some people feel, well, I've taken her to an Islamic school. They say they do this, they say they do this. I'm sure they will be able to do it. Wallahi, we can't do it alone. We have to do it together. Whatever we teach them here, whatever we imbibe here, if you don't enforce it at home, it will not work. They call us old-fashioned. We are not moving with time. The principal is a bushwoman, the director is a bushwoman. They don't know what they are doing. Why? Because if we insist on hijab here, if we insist that when they wake up in the morning, they should pray in congregation and then recite their Quran. When they go home, you come back from the mosque, you move into your room, you don't even check. Have my children prayed? What type of prayer have they prayed? Is it Assalamu alaikum and they are back to the bed? Have they read their Quran? Have they done their zikr? These are issues that we really need to take seriously. I don't want to take much of your time, but I just felt I need to let fathers know. Please, don't leave this job to the women alone. We cannot do it. No matter what we say we cannot do it. It's not true. We are not strong enough to say no sometimes. And we see it even here as a school, the parents that attend PTA meetings. We say it over and over again. Some of the rules we put down, the students break them with the aid of their mothers. When we say don't bring contraband, they help them to put it under their hijab. And when they pass these checks, they give it to them. We say don't give them a certain amount of money. They pass, they sign, they give whatever. When we are not there, they turn and give it to them. You have to supervise what is happening in your homes. You have to know what type of films your children are watching. Don't go into your room at 10 o'clock, you have your own TV, you are sitting there, your room is so big, it's also your sitting room. You don't know what your children are doing in their bedrooms. Open their laptops, see what is in their laptops. You will not believe it. I hope and sincerely pray that by the time our lecturers finish reminding us of the role that we need to play as parents and as fathers, we'll go back, reflect, and make changes in our lives and the lives of our children, inshallah. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Takbir. Allahu Akbar. I suppose the director has delivered the welcome address and she has said lots of things, just as in line with the promise I gave you while inviting her, that she understands the school, she understands the children more than many of the parents. And that is why she has to tell us this. And that is why her speech has to be touching and inspiring. I hope that we'll do better than we do before and we improve on the goodness we are doing. Remember, the theme of this year's Fathers Conference is the next generation of Muslims. Where are their fathers? I pray that everybody here today as a man will be among the fathers of those that will form the true generation of Muslims in the near future and beyond. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant this school the goal that the school is thinking about day by day. And the goal is having a pure and ideal generation of Muslims now and forever. Inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to be with the director, the principal, and the entire families of Great Heights Academy. I would like to sincerely welcome the chairman of the occasion, with whose permission we started the program. We understand that he faced some challenges. That is why it's not his habit. We know him very well. Alhamdulillah, you are here now. We are delighted to have you at this moment. I mentioned his name before his arrival during the introduction, that he is Ustaz Zakaria Hussein, the secretary for our mosque at Banex. Sorry, please. Alhamdulillah, that is here now. May I now hand over the microphone to him to please invite the first speaker for today's occasion. Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaba bikum.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونعوذ به من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. I am very honored and thankful as well for giving this singular honor to preside over a lecture or a talk to be given by my former friend but now teacher, Sheikh Ahmad Abu Bakr Mahmoud Gumi. He was my friend, but now he is my teacher. I don't have much to say because whatever I'm going to say here will just form a small part of what he's going to say, inshallah. However, as an educationist, because I was trained to be a teacher, so I could remember one lesson that we were given while we were in Teachers College, and that is the agents of education. A child has forces and has also an innate force which attracts other forces, and these forces are of two dimensions. There are destructive forces and there are positive forces. He is between the following forces: the family, which comprises the father, the mother, and the siblings. And we also have the mosque that is waiting to receive him outside the home. You also have the school that is prepared for his arrival. You then have his friends who are outside the house waiting to receive him as one of their peer group. Then you have the media, which is inside the house, destroying, distracting, and fashioning the child to be an alien within his own family, within his own society, to be an alien even in the mosque, in the school, and in the community. We have the television, the shameless guest. We have the foreign channels from the satellites. You have the video games, which are always training our children to be merciless, to be destructive, to have the tendency of nurturing their wickedness. The Tom and Jerry, I will not forget about it, which is always wickedness, teaching the children. The cartoon, if you like. Then you have the cell phone. I remember my first lecture in this school, about maybe 7, 8 years ago, was about the cell phone. When the telephone arrived, I was invited, and I gave the onslaught of cell phone amongst our youth. You have the chatting, the BB, the SMS. You'll be sitting with your child, but he is not sitting with you. He belongs to a group of people who are attracting him to leave the home for destruction. You have especially our daughters who are prey. So you could see how dangerous position every child is in a society in which he lives. Therefore, parenting is one of the most difficult tasks of every parent. Wallahi, when I hear somebody, his wife has given birth to either a baby girl or a baby boy, first I lament. I then pray for him or pray for them that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them the resilience, the courage, and the patience and perseverance to train their children, to take them away from these forces outside the house and also within the house. It has become, it's not the feeding, it's not the clothing, it's not the paying for the school fees, it's not. It's the friends and the society in which we live. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give our lecturer the wisdom to deliver what he intends to communicate to us this morning and afternoon, inshallah. I wish him, inshallah ta'ala, fruitful deliberations. I introduce, inshallah, to you Dr. Ahmad Abu Bakr Mahmoud Gumi, a double doctor, a doctor in medicine, such that if you are sick, you have a headache, he prescribes to you the best drugs to get cured. If you have an internal problems, he opens, dissect, remove the ailment, and there you are, healthier. And he's also a doctor in Islamic jurisprudence. So if you have mental depression, you are confused, you don't know what is right and what is wrong from Allah's perspective, he is here to give you the cure. That's why I say he is a doctor that doubles in this profession. Fadlillah mashkuran.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ورضي الله تعالى عن السادات التابعين والعلماء العاملين والأئمة الأربعة المجتهدين ومقلدين بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. So we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that has given us this opportunity to come together in this blessed school, Great Heights Academy. We thank Allah that has given us this opportunity to come and discuss a very important, very vital topic that affects the Muslim Ummah as a whole. Wherever you are, if you're a Muslim in this world now, living in this time, it affects you. The chairman of the occasion, the director of the institute, the teachers, and you listeners, I say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. First, I think the director, Haji Arabi, has said a lot. And I can just simply say I have adopted all what she has said, and that is the end of the lecture. Maybe this will give me chance to digress a little bit as I do my presentation, because what is supposed to be said has already been said by the director. May Allah reward her abundantly. My presentation is in a form of synopsis presentation so that we understand the issues and look at the ways out. So the first thing I would like to explain is that the topic of discussion today is parenting the next generation of Muslims, what fathers must know, what you as a father must know in relation to parenting the next generation of Muslims. All a father needs to know are the 3 golden rules of life. If you know perfect these 3 rules of life, then you know the way out. What are these golden rules of life? Rule number 1, change is constant. The Arab says, Baqa'ul hal min al-muhal. For the situation to remain constant is impossible. Time is changing, things are changing, nothing is static. This is rule number 1. You should know that things are changing. Don't expect your children to pass through what you have passed through. Your time is different from their time. So you should know that time is changing. This is number 1 rule. Then the second rule is that objective in life is also constant, which is survival. Time is changing, but the objective is also constant, which is survival, whatever it is. Here we are talking about survival of our religion, survival of our culture, survival of our identity. Should be constant. time is changing, but our objective should be constant. If your objective is not constant, you'll be effaced. You'll be effaced. You will cease to exist. You'll be completely effaced. You cease to exist. But if your objective is constant, then now you look at changes and do the third role, which is rule number 3, which is adaptation. You have to adapt. Adaptation is paramount for survival. So you adapt yourself to the changing situations, but your goal, your objective should be focused, should be clear, well defined. Then you look at the current and see how you can navigate in this changing situation to maintain your objective so that you can survive. Here, we are not only talking about the physical survival, we are talking about the spiritual survivals of this religion. So these 3 golden rules of life, which is change is constant, objective is also constant, which is survival, and the adaptation is paramount for survival. These 3 rules, now I want to talk about for change. The world is constantly changing. Things are changing. Nothing is static. Once I wrote that I could remember in 1995, I used to write letter to my family in Nigeria from Saudi Arabia. It takes 1 month for a letter to reach them, 1 month for a reply to come back. But today, in 2 seconds with an email, you can do that. Change in time. We are witnessing this change. And what is coming is even more and more, because the change now is accelerating, maybe to the speed of light. We should know that this change is coming. It's happening, and it will happen more and more. This said, we should not be in despair, because humans have greater access to information and knowledge and have ample opportunity to diversity, variety, and compare, making supposedly easier to regulate or easier to destroy at the same time. All the bad effects we are talking about, the change in time, we should not forget these same things can also improve the quality even of our education, of our Islam, and of our faith. These same instruments that are fast can as well be used to enhance. We should not only look at the negative effect, but let's see how we can harness these changes in time for the betterment of our religion. But we need to be conscious of that. This is one of the changes I have never seen. Okay, so as we are talking about change, I don't know why it's not. Oh, the color is the wrong choice of the color. Okay, here what I'm trying to say is hadith from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. No, leave it for them. What here is a hadith from the sallallahu alaihi wasallam. قال الله يعذني ابن آدم يصب الدهر وأنا الدهر وأقلب الليل والنهار. If they can see. Here, I told you about 3 rules of life. Somebody there, we have a lot of them, they say, look, from where do you have these rules? Because now people are cultivating a habit. If you tell them anything, if you don't say قال الله قال رسول صلى الله عليه وسلم, they say it's all rubbish. No. قال الله قال رسول الله are text messages, but they have meaning. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam said us in a hadith narrated by Bukhari and Muslim that the son of Adam hurts me. Allah is saying the son of Adam hurts me. Yasubbud dahar. He abuses time, and I am the time. I turn the day and night. Allah is the time. Allah brought this development. Allah brought this change in time. Allah, all what? To test you. الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا. It's test. But the test changes with time. The test of last century is different from the test of this century. The test of next century will be different from the test of the century to come. Every generation has its own test. What you should do is try to maintain the objective and see what can lead you to an objective, and that is your jihad. That is your jihad. So if the Prophet ﷺ will do the jihad on a camel, on a horse with the sword, time has changed now. Times has changed. The concept of jihad too will change with the concept, with the time. Time changes, means and method changes, but the objective remains the same. Human being now wants to be addressed intellectually. Human being, because of maturity. So this is the time Islam to show its power in knowledge, power in analysis, not the physical power of muscles, because we have reached the point of diminishing return. Anything you know in life, anything, has a point of diminishing return. If you plant a tree or a flower and start putting manure, fertilizers, it will continue to grow, to grow. There will be a time when no matter if you put all the fertilizers of the world, this plant will never increase in height. In fact, the fertilizer may kill it. So anything has a point of diminishing return. The use of muscles, power, now in this time we are living in is useless. You can never force anybody. La ikrah fi din. America wants to export democracy to Iraq with power, and they could not. They have all the power, the material power. Went into Iraq with force, trying to impose democracy with force. They found that no, you cannot impose anything by force. Likewise, you cannot impose Islam by force. You have to convince the mind to accept Islam. La ikrah fi din, qad tabayyana rushdu min al-ghayy. So this is a time where information travels very fast. People get information. This is time for knowledge. It's not time for physical power. The time of it has gone. Khalas. Even if you have an atomic bomb today, you have sleepless nights. When you have it, you will have sleepless nights, because how do you keep it safe? It's useless. No need to aspire for it, because time of power has passed. Now is the power of human mind. Who will speak and gather people to understand and follow the truth? This is the important thing. People are human beings. They think. They just need somebody to call them intelligently, convince them, the mind, and then they follow. Otherwise, power, the physical power, has no effect. So what I want to, so that we don't waste a lot of time in
semantics. For the objective, which we said should be also constant, before I go into that, the second law, I say the objective should be constant. That's why Allah said, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullaha haqqa tuqatihi wa la tamutunna illa wa antum muslimun. Fear Allah, haqqa tuqatihi. Haqqa tuqatihi to the most of what he should be feared. Wa la tamutunna, and you should not die except you are submitting yourself to Allah. When it comes to death and faith, you must stick to the faith to the last breath. Haqqa tuqatihi. That is your objective, to meet God with a mind submitted to him, not associating with him, not worshiping any other. This is an objective, does not change irrespective of time. That's why Allah said, fear me the way it should be. But worshiping Allah, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. When you want to worship Allah, you want to fast, you want to do things, you do it as much as you can do. If you cannot pray standing, sit down. If you cannot sit down, pray sitting down, lie down. If you cannot lie down, even with blinking. Hajj, liman istata'a ilayhi sabil, walillahi ala nasi hajjul bayti. Hajj, if you have money, go to Hajj. If you don't have money, Islam said, no, don't go to Hajj. Do that money, go and do business with it. Take your children. Fasting. وَمَنْ كَانَ مِنْكُمْ مَرِيدًا أَوْ عَلَىٰ سَفَرٍ فَعِدَّةٌ مِنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرَ. Fasting, Ramadan, you are sick or you are on a journey, leave it until another day. There is no pillar of Islam which is not given this respite if you are not able to. So when it comes to worship, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. How you can worship Allah, do it as much as you can. But when it comes to faith, dying, you must die at all cost. You must die submitting to Allah. It cannot change. So, before I talk about the objective, why it should stay, here I want to digress a little bit. Let us briefly understand the human nature. I was really afraid because I want to take a little time of you on this understanding, but I could see some people may say it's out of the lecture. No, it's not out of it. Let's understand it. You see, the human being, or rather the Homo sapien, have two intricate and intertwined natures as a result of having two functionally distinct compounded brain structures, the old and the new brains. Any human being you see here has a compound brain, an old brain and a new brain. How do we differentiate this is an old and this is new? You are not the only animal on earth, are you? There are other animals, chimpanzees, crocodiles, insects. What scientists found, or precisely doctors, anatomists, that a human being share with other animals some brain structures that control vital things for life. Just as you are a human being, a living thing, a monkey, we share a brain that controls vital things of life. Hunger, anger, sexual desire, grabbing, fighting, fight or flight. All this animalistic behavior you see in animal, in a lion or in a goat or chicken, all this animalistic behavior you see, human being too has that brain that controls the same instincts. So truly, human being is also an animal. Say it. Don't fear. We are all animals. But the difference between human being, Homo sapien, and the other animals is that he has a new, expanded, developed brain which they don't have. His own is more pronounced than the other animals. So, new brain enveloped the old brain. This is the new brain, the cortex, the old brain, the medulla, the inner. This big new brain that enveloped the old one we share with other animals. I tried to color it, you see, the new brain and the old brain. Okay, this is another picture which shows the new brain enveloping the primitive brain. Why is it primitive? Because it's found in all the primitive animals. You see, emotions, instincts, reflexes are controlled by this new brain is the center of analysis, is the center of intelligence, activities. This new brain is what makes human other animals. The old brain consists of a group of structures that are involved in emotional processing, motivation, goal seeking. So you see the neocortex, the limbic system in all mammalians and reptiles. You see, reptiles have even smaller brains. Then the old mammalians have a bigger, but the human being has 90% of his brain is neocortex because of intelligence. So what happens, this is an artist, new brain analysis, old brain survival. Survival, sexual arousal. Why animals are sexually aroused? So that they keep on breeding. Why do they prey? They want to eat to survive. All these instincts of survival are in the old brain. In the new brain, that is where the intelligence is, analysis. You gather data, analyze it, and bring out a product. That happens with human beings. So this is the distinction. This new brain envelops the old one. You see, there is an interconnection between the two. The old brain sends signals to the new brain. The new brain analyzes these signals and sends back to the old brain to give it an okay or no. So when you train, what the new cortex does, if well trained and exploited, is the product of modern civilization, albeit the ancient one. When you see civilization, the pyramids, the China wall, they are all product of the neocortex. It means there is human being, there is intelligence. Animals can never do anything intelligence like that. This is the work of the neocortex, human being. So when it is well trained and exploited, you have civilization. This is the product of neocortex. I think this picture is taken in Malaysia. You can see whoever built this is using his neocortex, well trained to build. You have skyscrapers, you have jetliners, you have fast, what do you call it, fast track trains. You have computer networking. All these things you see are the product of a well-trained, exploited brain. But the old brain if left, the old brain, if left untrained and untamed, we have all the vices we see today in the modern life: wars, murders, rapes, suicide, drugs, alcoholism, theft, insatiable greed for wealth, just as example. Anything bad you see is the old brain that remains in its natural instinct without being trained by the person. So you have all these things. Look at this. Your discretion is needed here, actually, because I'm going to show some pictures to show you the effect of leaving the old brain, the animalistic brain, the primitive brain untrained. What do we have? We have murders, which I mentioned. This is a man that was killed by his computer. So they are developed, but murder, suicide, somebody killing himself, rapes and manslaughters, lady raped and killed. Drugs and alcoholism. The brain is left untrained. Addiction. Promiscuity. Robbery. These are all the works of the old brain. It was left untamed. These same people that build those skyscrapers, those this same brain was trained, they only trained the neocortex to build, but they forgot the old brain to tame. That's why you have these vices. So one of the vices of leaving the old brain untamed is what we have, the teenage pregnancy out of wedlock. I just got this from CNN one time in 1999. This is in CNN. About 93,000 teenage, 8,000 of them under the age of 16 became pregnant in Britain each year. So just half of these pregnancies are under 16 and abortion, and end in abortion. In the West, only Canada, New Zealand, and United States have higher rates. This is in 1999. The figures now are higher. Teenage pregnancies. Children are left with their old brain untamed. We are just training them to build good cars, skyscrapers, but we forget the moral aspect of life. So what tames the old brain? Only religious instruction and practices can abate the fire in the animalistic brain. That explains the lower rates of crimes, rapes, alcoholism, murder, drugs, robbery, HIV in highly traditional Muslim communities. If you go to Saudi Arabia, mathalan, AIDS, HIV, is almost 0%, almost. I met a Syrian doctor in Saudi. He said, out of 10 patients diagnosed with HIV in Mecca, he was telling me, out of 10, he told me, 7 are from Nigeria, and the rest Pakistanis. Rarely you see a Saudi with AIDS. Why? they have separated the two societies. There's a male society, like we are having this lecture on male, and there's a female society, and they will have their own lectures too. They have separated the two societies in schools, in banks, in everything. Therefore, you don't have crimes, rapes. They don't have a very efficient police, no. But in Mecca, you can leave your door. I truly say I do that. In fact, I once left my door, doesn't even have a lock. The key is bad, and I don't lock it. If you want to travel, because of the heat of the region, you do it better from 12 o'clock in the night, 1, 2, 3. That is the best time to travel. In Saudi Arabia, nobody will harm you. Not that there are police on the road. No. Because the society is tamed. Tamed by what? By strict adherence to Islam. Now, westernization too is creeping slowly into Saudi Arabia. At the same rate of creeping, the rate of crimes are increasing. So this is what religion is telling you. Allah is saying, I know you human being. You are composed of two things. So if you are left untrained, so as an objective religion now, more especially Islam, being the perfected and preserved, tames and control the neocortex to suppress and modify the old brain's vanity and desires such as emotion, sexual drive, anger, misbehavior, and hopelessness. This is what Islam does to your brain to suppress orders from the old brain. Say, no, there is no way, no permission given. So if you don't train somebody on these religious moral issues, you are just training an animal how to hunt. The lion does that with his claw, but now you are giving him gun to do what the lion is doing because you didn't put this religious training in him. We could see that leadership, trust, chastity, honesty. This is, I omitted something because I was talking about before this insatiable greed for wealth. When we have a case, you find people going to United States getting a PhD in this economics, PhD in that, PhD in that. When you come to Nigeria and put them on a seat, give them ministers or senators or anything, these same people that have a PhD from United States being the pinnacle of development and civilization now, they still steal. They steal people's, just like the rat. When a rat sees something, it hides and steals. This same man is still a rat. You don't know. Because he's using his old brain. So when you go, what I'm saying, a PhD from USS cannot give you any of these qualities. Qualities of what? Trust, chastity, honesty, and impartiality. No. Only strict and good religious instructions can produce such a balanced, natured individual. لذلك رسول صلى الله عليه وسلم إنما بعثت لأتمم مكارم الأخلاق. إنما, I am only sent, إنما يعني, so that I perfect the best of manners. So Islamic religion, when you take it in a nutshell, the religion is trying to tame your mind to give you good character. So when you remove this training from a human being, you just make him a sophisticated lion, a sophisticated, what do you call it, animal. His animal instincts, he uses intelligence for animal instincts only. But when you apply religious instructions and deen, then he becomes a balanced human being without neglecting his intellect and at the same time being morally. So my third role, which is adaptation, which is paramount, the challenges of modern times for Muslims to preserve their values and repulse cultural pollution without necessarily compromising on material development. what's happening is the future. الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول إن من أشراط الساعة أن يرفع العلم. Knowledge will be lifted. I think they have the English translation. And ignorance will be apparent. Explicit sexual affairs will spread. Alcoholic drinks will be drunk. Men will decrease in number. Women will remain to the extent that there will be 50 women to one supportive man. 50 women, لقيم واحد, قيم supportive man. There will be men, but they are more, the men are more like in terms of weakness, the women. Time is coming, women will be more. This is the future, changes are coming, women will be more. So we Muslims now, we have to look at this and look, if we want to preserve, we want to survive, we have to adapt. Why? We have to take the training of our women folk very serious. We have to train them, one, so that they will be able to fend for themselves, more especially for our female folks. You see, it is important that they are equipped with both modern knowledge and Islamic religious upbringing to face the challenges of modern times. Women, within the confines of Sharia, will have to be able to fend for themselves, at the same time shun the misfortune of moral decadence. Train your daughter to be able to be dependent on herself, your wife, somebody, but within the confines of Sharia. I'm happy in an institution like this already, girls alone, being taught everything. It's good, preparing them for the nature. We cannot use this excuse if we want to maintain this moral uprightness and said, okay, my child, you know, instead of training him to be morally upright, you send him to where he's going to destroy his culture. Men and women have to create the healthy culture and appropriate environment that will prepare our children for the coming generations. The society, parents, then shall exploit the proper use of modern amenities to promote chastity, awakening in our children the consciousness to live a life of purity while still achieving excellence in worldly affairs. Parents should live by example. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, ما من مولود إلا يولد على الفطرة فأبواه يهودانه وينصرانه ويمجسانه. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, every child is born, meaning all newborns are born on a natural disposition of faith in one God. It is their parents that change them to Judaism, Christianity, or paganism. Just as an animal produces a complete offspring, do you see it with severed parts? Here, this hadith confirms that the two parents have an influence on the child. They are the ones that change him from Hanafiya, from the true faith, from nature. So the two parents are responsible for their children. They should live by example. You can't be a father smoking in front of your children, then you tell me your child will not smoke. You can't do that. You can't be a father entertaining women in your sitting room, chatting with them, drinking, telling me your daughter will not do that with men. It's not possible. You have to live by example. You have to show your children. You see, if you divide the lifespan of a human being, the first 5 years copies more from the mother. When you get a guinea, this zabo, what do you call him in English? This bird, zabo. Guinea fowl. When you take an egg of guinea fowl and put it under a hen that is hatching eggs, and the hen hatches with this guinea fowl. When they are hatched And incidentally, too, in the same cage or in the same place, there are guinea fowls, too. Do you know, after hatching this egg of guinea fowl by the chicken, do you know which of the two groups this guinea fowl will follow? You will follow the hen. Are you sure about that? They will follow the... See, he will leave his group and follow the mother. This is the effect of mother. Why? Because the moment he comes out of the shell, the mother calls him and sees him and calls him. He starts following her. Mothers have so much effect on the brain of the newborn. Up to 5 years, mothers. So before I go to men, when children at 6, when they became mumayizin, they start to sew, now he'll start looking at his father. If his father is a doctor, I want to be a doctor. If his father is an officer, I want to be an officer. If his father is an emir, he will start coming out to like an emir. He's small, but he feels like he likes to follow his father. But now I'm talking about women, that stage. This is where the greatest damage is done, especially in modern times. A woman, she's working already. She has no time for the child. At birth, maybe some few months, then later she takes this child and give nanny. She goes to work. What are you looking there? I want to get more money. To do what? To train my child. Okay, you want to train your child, that's you were out. But God has given you the power to train and mold this child, and now you are giving that power to a nanny. And this money you get can never, the whole money in the world can never change this child. You collect the money, make the Mercedes-Benz, live in home. When your child is spoiled, no money can correct him. So you are given a power, natural power. You left it. How many people become great because of their mothers? Imam Malik, his mother used to tell him, dress him, go to the Majlis of Rabi'ah, but take from his behaviors before you take from his knowledge. This man, great scholar of Islam. Many like that. Many scholars like that. Their mother. There's a boy in America, a black boy, was born and he had a congenital eye diseases which must be excised too. So his mother was comforting him. He had the operation. He was asking him, when will I see? The mother said, you will see. So she said, when they are passing in a car, she would tell him, don't you see a building there? Slowly, he said, oh yes, there's a building here. There's a man passing here. Do you know how? This boy developed a very sensitive hearing. So from the echo of sound, he can know that there is a bottle here, there is a cup here. The explanation was that the influence of his mother that he would see made him to really develop this extraordinary sensitivity. So now, if he comes in here, you will think he is seeing, but he doesn't see. He produces sound from his mouth, and it goes back to his ears, and he knows that there are objects here. This is the effect of mother on a child. Now, modern life has brought that we neglect our children for other things of the world. We leave them. That's why now, alcoholism, drug, you find them in every society. Muslims, poor. If you go to Afghanistan, if you go to, Russia, America, everywhere, because the mothers have failed nature, the fitrah, which Allah has done, they have failed it in our young. They leave them for other things. Wallahi, if I'm a woman, I will have no shame to say I am a housewife and I hold my baby to become great. There is no work better than it. It's better than being a minister somewhere and everywhere everybody is cussing you for buying two what? Two BMW cars. What's their divorce? What's their life? Wallahi, a woman in village who is holding her baby, breastfeeding him, teaching him morality, wallahi, is 100% better than this. The child will come, he can even save nations. So women has failed in this tax about. Then the man too, from 6, when the child's brain has become mumayyiz, he will start looking at his father. So now you have to be an example to your children. Be an example to your children is more strong than anything. That's why now, when we're talking about adaptation, there's a school of thought that says, prevent the facade. We have that in Saudi Arabia. Some of the scholars, like Ibn Taymiyyah, call, oh, there's a problem, this visitor in our television, TV, the satellite, so that break your satellite dishes. Don't give your child mobile phone. Don't introduce him to internet. Block them, block them, block them. This is a school of thought, but it's a failing school of thought. It will fail. Because this time, whether he likes it or not, is coming. So the best school of thought, which is supported by the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, is that the best of people, man khalat an-nas wa sabara ala adahum, who intermingle with men, but at the same time is very patient about their injury. He's able to sustain himself not to get involved in their evil. This is the best man. And this should be our goal. This should be our goal in bringing the next generation. No, don't provide for them the mobile. And thank the director said, even our children know it better. We should be happy. They should know it better. We should teach them better. But what? We should teach them how to use it for good. And we should teach them how to repel evil. Teach them how to play good and teach them how to repel evil. This is what the training, if you are able to do that, then we will succeed. Let me give you an example. If you go to hospital, a disease, the doctor asks you, oh, I have a cough. It's productive. He thinks you have a chest infection. Then you tell the doctor asks you, for how long? For 1 week. Have you been taking anything? Yes, I've been taking ampicillin capsules. And you are still coughing, yes. I just ask you, you don't need to be a medical doctor. Do you think this same doctor will prescribe ampicillin for this patient? If he does that, what do you say? It's quack. A man comes to you with an infection, bacteria, in the presence of ampicillin, which is not killing it. It means ampicillin is not curing the disease. But if you change the antibiotic, it will clear it. Now, the present situation we are, the present organization, Islamic or methods we are, the present method we are, if these methods, at the same time our children are getting worse and worse, it means the system as a whole needs to be overhauled to be able to take the new challenge. But if we continue with the same old archaic systems and think we'll tackle the problem, we are only dreaming. So we have to overhaul. This overhaul, even the whole society, the Muslim society have to overhaul. We have to work in a society. We are talking about parents and their influence. How about the society itself? The child should be taught to keep good companies. How about the society? How about the society? The society too has an influence on the people. So we should collectively also be able to change the society. What we should try to do is create the environment. Alhamdulillah, I'm very happy something like this school giving girls opportunity to learn modern, to learn religious instructions without compromising on their morality by separating them from boys and trying to teach them that is the correct thing. If the whole society will take this as an example, in a short time you find that, yes, we have reduced this problem. Wallahi, I'm telling you, as the Prophet ﷺ said, Yafshul zina, in the end of time, zina, to the extent that on the road, men and women will be committing zina. It was to the extent that women will go with women, men will go with men. Because after zina has so much, in fact, even a woman does not excite a man, he goes to a man. A woman does, this is a problem coming. So we have to direct our policies towards that. So when you have mixed school, secondary school boys, 16 over 16 girls, are you trying to cure that problem or trying to compound it? We just read in England, 93,000 in a year. Now, the statistics in New York City, they say half of New York's secondary school girls, half are already, now as I'm talking, pregnant. Pregnant. Is that why we're heading to? We have to take measures. We have to use this modernity, because in the past, they will tell you, there is no way you can do darura. We have to come together. Yes, that could be darura, but now darura is becoming less and less and less. Wallahi, what we require from our women folks is not to be an aeronautical engineers. It's not to be aeronautical engineers to survive. No, I'm not denying educations together. We give them all the education they do, but within the confines of Sharia, by building this kind of institution. It should not just stop at secondary school. Go to diploma, go to degree, there is no extent to it. Now I have a daughter, she's in my house and she's doing a university in Malaysia online. And I've seen the curriculum, even the day-to-day school cannot beat it. Why don't we encourage that? Give our women the value they deserve. Their chastity, we have to protect it. Wallahi, it's better for you to have a chaste woman, chaste, than to have a well-educated PhD from USA. You know that if you are married to one, this one, you go out, travel, and come back, your mind is settled. But that one, the moment you leave the house, your mind is what? Mar'atu salihah. Mar'atu salihah. We should try to bring out good mothers. And these women, they have a job to do, to train the next generation. So you have to train her, equip her, let her be proud of the religion. She's not cheap. Show her the importance of what she represents. She represents a generation. She presents life. Everything depends on this woman, so let's spend on them, improve them, educate them, do everything we can do for our women folk. It's not even important than the men, because as the Prophet ﷺ, they are becoming more and more, and there will become a time only one man can fend for them, so we start getting them to fend for themselves. If we stay, we study. Now they said in China, the economy of China as a result of cottage industries, family industries, man, woman, and children making shoes, caps. We should look at it that way too. We can improve our women by small industries whereby they don't have to go to tuck in with jeans and t-shirt, because her boss, if she dressed Islamically, he would drive her away. No. We can improvise, we can adapt. Educate them to be productive, but without unnecessarily mixing with intermingling with the society. To sum it up, a Muslim's guiding principle in life is وَابْتَغِ فِي مَا آتَاكَ اللَّهُ الدَّارَ الْآخِرَةَ وَلَا تَنْسَ نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا. You should seek with what Allah has given you the hereafter, but don't also forget your share of this world. Your intelligence, your wealth, your strength, you should seek for it the hereafter. But God is advising you, but don't forget your portion, your share of the world. But you know, our psychology now is the opposite. We have changed our psychology. All your wealth, all your money, all your effort is dunya, dunya, dunya. So the good ones of us are saying, the one who remembers Allah. You build a very big mansion, very good mountain, then you say Allah ganaka and small for al-akhirah and for akhirah. We spend more on dunya. Let's invest in our children. Let's invest in the next generation. Let's build schools, training centers for our women folks, more especially than our men, for the next generation. Let's separate them. Let's not copy them. Let's not do what they are doing. We can see the next thing that is going to destroy the Western society is their neglect of moral teachings. This is what destroyed Rome, and now they are complaining. I met a major in Jaji, that's in 1986, an American major. They came for the airborne training. I met him, a white man. He's saying, what he foresees the failure or the collapse of America is because the family unit is being destroyed by the modern life. He said he was brought up in a farm, together with father, with grandfather, with all their family on a farm. But he told me now he's somewhere in New York, but his two daughters, one is in California, one is in Chicago. Nobody knows anybody. He said, this is what is going to destroy America. You can't destroy America with nuclear weapons, but morality, this is what is going to destroy it. So when people destroy their morality, they are going to be destroyed. And this is the time we Muslims will come back to morality. Moral teaching is more important than those skyscrapers you see, it's more important than those airplanes you see, because you can as well have the skyscrapers, the computer network, the fast track, but in that society you have murder, you have manslaughter, you have all these things. Even yesterday or today, a man went to Los Angeles and was shooting what? People all around. So all the use of their wealth, if they have left the society morally bankrupt. So moral teaching is more important. I'm emphasizing this because when you open an Islamic school, although every knowledge is Islamic, you see parents don't want to pay money there. They don't want to help teachers there. But if it's the morning school where they learn how to build skyscrapers, everybody will go and borrow money for that. Whereas we should do the opposite. We should borrow money to make sure our children have the moral education they need. It's more important. I'm not saying the worldly, education is bad. No, I'm not Boko Haram at all. I'm not Boko Haram. Boko is part and integral part of Islamic knowledge. Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. Read. Allah did not say read Quran or read Hadith or read this. Iqra. Mutlaq. Read everything. Allah is not ashamed to give an example of a mosquito. I used to act congregation like this in mosque. Allah is never shy of anything, no matter small, like a mosquito. Now, if you go to a mosque full with Muslims, like now, if I may ask you, is there any professor of mosquito here? Any professor of mosquito? Talk less of Anopheles mosquitoes that kill us. Any professor?
Okay, just PhD, masters. Anybody with masters in mosquitoes? Anybody with BSc in mosquito, although it's a specialty. You see, but go to a Jewish congregation or a Christian congregation in America like this, and who among you has some specialty to do with mosquitoes? You'll be surprised and see people. So we are told to read everything. وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا ثُمَّ عَرَضَهُمْ عَلَى الْمَلَائِكَةِ فَقَالَ أَنْبِئُونِي. Adam, our father, was taught everything by God to make him Khalifa, representative. Was taught everything. Now you are telling me no, just know something. وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِرٍ. Quran is summarized and condensed and simplified. Then you make it, that is the qimma of your knowledge. If you memorize it, then you are the alim of everything. La, the Quran says, سَنُرِيهِمْ آيَاتِنَا فِي الْآفَاقِ وَفِي أَنفُسِهِمْ حَتَّى يَتَبَيَّنَ لَهُمْ أَنَّهُ الْحَقُّ. Ayat, I will show them signs in the horizons in themselves until when the Quran appears to them, it is true. These ayats are the signs you see and everything. And you can't know that except by learning, by istiqra. So we left learning. We Muslims now are defeated not because we don't read the Quran or we don't pray. It's not that we are defeated. It's because we have left a significant portion of our neocortex without using them to modify changes that will protect our religion. That's the reason. So we are not saying that this education is Islamic or not Islamic. All are Islamic. But what we are saying, the moral education is the most valuable education. We should spend on it. It's more important. It's preferred for me now, my daughter or my child to be having moral education more than to be an aeronautical engineer when he drinks and fornicates and cheat people. We bring them to be our leaders and they are what? Cheating, stealing like animals. This is what we have because they have this moral education. In Nigeria, this is what we are suffering from. If you look at the Sardauna, Tafawa Balewa area, do you know what happened? They got that moral education, not necessarily through the books, Qala Allah, Qala Rasul, no, from the society, a clean society, a traditional Muslim society, where there is chastity, there is shyness, there is yakamata. I don't know how to say it in English. So they became leaders, and they are right. When Nzebu came and cleared this generation of leaders, then a 27-year-old unmarried Nigerian became a 27-year unmarried bachelor became the head of state. What does he know even about life? And look at those that were following him. Even the Murtala, all these young boys, they never tested the traditional training of morality. Suddenly they were military barracks, everything is westernized. They became the leaders of this nation. That is the greatest mistake of this. After him, coup after coup, eating each other's to the extent of what we are today. But the future, inshallah, is bright. Why? 40 years ago or 50 years ago, there is no school like the Great Heights Academy. There is no Islamiyat, there is no hijab, boys are not. But now there is. When this generation becomes the next leaders, they will never be like this corrupt generation that has passed. This corrupt generation that has destroyed us just because they don't have this moral training. So that's why if we want the future to be good for us, this moral training is very important. We have to spend so much time on it. If time will allow me, what we need in the future is try to blend. Try to blend so that we don't have double personalities. Try to make a student, whether girl or boy, try to make him merge the moral training together, intervene with the Western education. Don't separate them, because we have seen the effect of separation. The evening school is for Islamia. The morning school is for Western education. In Malaysia, we saw a girl wearing jeans and t-shirt, westernized, seriously, exposing all her beauty. When the time for prayer comes, this girl will go to the female section of the mosque. Already there, hijab hanged. She takes one, put, and pray. After prayers, she hangs it back and go out westernized. Because you have a double personality in this case. She's taught two different things at different times. Be westernized for your world. Put the hijab in the mosque for Allah. No. Islam is your hijab is there, even if you are building, your hijab is there. Whatever, if you are a doctor, your hijab is there. Likewise, the man, if he's a doctor, he's conscious about his God. If he's a pilot, he's conscious about his God. They are not two different institutions, it's one man, but two things in one man. So in the curriculum too, we should try to efface these Islamia or non-Islamia schools and put them together. You come to school, you learn morality, which is Islamic knowledge for us. You learn science, you learn everything together. Then you have a man who can be productive to society, a man who is not having a bipolar or what do you call it, mind. In such case, the society, inshallah, will be better and better. And lastly,
Subhanahu wa ta'ala reward us with Jannah. We thank you for coming. We thank you. May Allah reward you. May Allah take you back to your destination safely, inshallah. ربنا عليك توكلنا وإليك أنبنا وإليك المصير. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا عليك توكلنا وإليك أنبنا وإليك المصير. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل ونعم المولى ونعم النصير. سبحان ربك رب العزة ما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا هل أدلكم على تجارة تنجيكم من عذاب أليم تؤمنون بالله